Okay, it's Red Carcass here again. I'm going to do another strategy series video, and this one's going to be based off of Russia. And with Russia here, I already did the German strategy, and the board's still set up the same way. All the German stuff's on there. It's January 1940. Germany did its turn, or Germany can do its turn. I haven't actually done a purchase for Germany, so this is how it sits. And Germany would have either annexed Hungary or Bulgaria, but that's kind of irrelevant on this. They wouldn't that would be on their place units turn, and they would not be able to use those units this turn. So I'm not going to focus on what Germany does. I'm going to focus on Russia. So Russia right now sits as it did at the start of the game. There are no extra units on the board. The only extra units on the board is all that stuff I have in the background here set up. Okay, so this destroyer and submarine were on the place units box, so they can go somewhere. I'm going to be upgrading a factory, this one here in fact, from a minor to a major, so that's 2 turns at 5 or 10 bucks. I just used an example. There's 5 infantry, and then you got 4 additional infantry. From the income, then we have those yellow guys there. That is 3 Lend-Lease units to, say, Spain or Communist China, if there's a supply path to Communist China. Right now there is not. Then this one here, this is an oddball. That's $16, the amount it would cost for 2 transports, or you could buy, say, 4 anti-aircraft, 4 artillery, or 4 light tanks or something with that money. Those are your options with that money. That's a little extra. And these $2 in the front here are just change, so you can use those for a tech roll, or maybe use that money to upgrade one of these infantry to, say, $4 unit. Or maybe you could use 2 of these bucks here to upgrade one of these light tanks to a regular tank. It's up to you. So that's kind of irrelevant. That's kind of a safe build here. And that's it. So January 1940, in the last scenario for Germany, they managed to get themselves up to 40 bucks. Japan is only sitting here because we have pretended Japan's attacked nothing, just for the purposes of the German video. And now on the Russian video, it's kind of irrelevant. They could attack you, they could not. It doesn't really affect anything in the grand scheme of things. So the Russian money is currently set at 20 with the income roll that we gave them last time. And we're assuming that they've signed the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. So they have allowed Germany to align Romania, but they collect an additional $3, so they're actually tied with the Americans there at 23, and they get a free tech roll every turn until Germany declares war on them. And that started July 1939. Russia, in January 1939, can declare war on anybody, regardless of what their wartime income is. Well, not quite anybody, but they can declare war on anybody except for, and this is going to be important, so, alright, so January 1939, any neutral? Yes. Axis and their aligned minors? Yes. January 39 or later. USA, France, Britain, or KMT? Yes, but not until USSR reaches full production and Berlin has fallen. Communist China? No. Vichy France? Yes. So the only time that Russia needs to reach its full wartime income is to attack USA, France, Britain, or KMT. It can attack anybody else when it's not at full wartime income. Important to know. And Russia's also got some bonus skills here. Let me just adjust my camera here so I can show this stuff a little bit better. I'm going to zoom her in a bit too, because there's some small print to get all this stuff on the board here. And there we go. Let's get rid of that glare. All the ink on this page, it kind of gets a bit shiny here. So these are the Soviet special abilities, and let's start at the top here. All right, and can we make that a little easier to read? All right, perfect. Factory movement. You notice that this is really tiny. USSR may use one rail move to move a minor factory and two rail moves a major factory. This factory cannot produce any units the turn it moves. It moves in whatever state of damage it has suffered. So if it's perfect, it's good. If it's at max damage, it moves at max damage, or anything in between. The factory may not produce any units the turn it moves. It must move along a rail line and remain inside the Soviet home country. Factories cannot be moved until the USSR is at war with a major power. So USSR has to be at war first, but with a major power. But once it is, it can move its factories, and those factories, while moving, will be considered non-usable, the same as one that's being built this turn, or placed on the board this turn, or captured even. Northern Sea Route, USSR or any nation they permit may move one naval unit per turn via the Northern Sea Route. This unit must begin a non-combat movement in Sea Zone 5 or 6 by expending its entire movement allowance, including naval base bonus. It is placed in Sea Zone 7. So, just to show that for you here. Alright, Unit 5 or 6. There we are, way up here in northern Russia, on the top edge of the map. And you will go through all those chips I have stored there, and all the way up to Sea Zone 7, which is that one between Chukchi and Alaska, where that Japanese roundel is sitting there. Alright, and that's one unit per turn, and you can allow anybody else you want to go through there. It does not even state whether you can close it to anybody or open it to anybody, whether you're at war with them or not, or aligned with them or not. That is your choice. Alright, there's Guards Infantry. After each battle, the USSR may attempt to produce a number of, or to promote a number of units to Elite Guards designation. They may attempt a number of promotions equal to the number of land units you lost in combat. You may only attempt to promote a unit one time. To promote a unit, roll a d12. On a 12, the unit is promoted and basically turns into an elite, which is +1 attack and defense. Any land units are eligible for promotion except current guards units. The USSR may only attempt this if they won the previous battle. So you can only do that if you've won, either defeated the enemy or caused them to retreat. So if you attack, you win. If they attack you, they run away and don't continue the attack. Or they attack you and you wipe them out. Alright, so that's a promotion where you can get free upgrades to elite infantry. Soviet surprise attack. On the player turn that Germany declares war with the Soviet Union, all German land or land/air units get +1 attack, and all Soviet units, it says all Soviet units, it's not specific on land or air, so I'm assuming that includes naval as well, -1 defense on all rounds of combat, including subsequent blitz. Soviets may not attack more than one land zone on their next turn. So on the turn that Germany declares war on you, Russians can only attack one land zone. That's it. That includes neutrals outside of Russia, retaking stuff in Russia, attacking. It doesn't matter what it is or where it is. Just one. Now this is a handy little add-on. When the game first came out, they did not have this scorched earth, but this is a nice little add-on here. So, scorched earth. The USSR can destroy its own factories, naval bases, air bases, and facilities during the combat phase of its turn. So after combat move, but before non-combat move. An enemy nation first any nation that conquers a Soviet land zone gets no income from that land zone the turn it is conquered. No unit is required for the destruction to occur. So what this basically says is that if you attack something that's Soviet home country and you take it over, you don't get to collect the money that's printed on the map until the second turn you own it. Basically, it's similar to a factory. If you can't produce on that factory, then you wouldn't be able to collect the money if it was original red USSR territory. And if the USSR wishes to destroy any of its bases, it can, and no units are required for the destruction, and there is no limit to how many. They can destroy every single air base or facility, rocket base, whatever the heck they built, factories, the works, all at once. But it has to be on the combat phase. So, and then there's this last one. Mobilize the reserves during the first turn. USSR is at war with a major power. All land combat units -1 to purchase. So everything's $1 cheaper. That's a land unit. All Soviet militia have a move of 1 once the USSR is at war with a major power. That it says they have a move of 1. And nowhere on this does it say that it's only in Soviet home country, blah, blah, blah. So it's not like the German Volkssturm. Once it has a move of 1, it has a move of 1. Done. So you can actually attack Germany, in Germany, or Japan, in Manchuria, with militia. If you're at war with them. Alright, so there you go. And yes, this is very important. January 1939 or later. I'm going to have a little strategy here I'm calling the Dirty Russian. I'll show you that in a separate video here. And that involves the USSR exploiting this date, January 1939. And who it can attack. It can attack anybody on that turn, except for USA, France, Britain, or KMT, because Berlin would have to fall, and that's pretty early for Berlin to fall, and it needs to be at full production, and it won't be. Alright, so, and USSR is a different animal. It can attack people, even when it doesn't have full production. So I'm going to move this sheet out of the way, and now I'm going to go on to this sheet, because some of this stuff's really important to know as the Russian player. Alright, I'm going to zoom that in just a touch here. Now I'm still going off the 1936 scenario. This same stuff applies to the 1939 scenario for the most part, but alright, starting money 1936, $8. Starting income level, $8. Wartime income is the value of all its territories printed on the map is 46. Now, controlled miner is Tanatuva. It's worth nothing. It's actually this spot right here. It's worth $0, but you know, there you go. It's a controlled miner, and as a result, it is not home country. All right. So, in order for it to make more money, just like what we were doing with the German turn there, on keeping everybody's money down, Japan possesses Mongolia or Xinjiang, +5. So I'm assuming it's not clear, Mongolia or Xinjiang. I would say any one piece of Mongolia or the Xinjiang. And it doesn't say each, but I would assume it would be one or the other, so +5 and +5. So, there we go. That's Xinjiang right here. China right on the Russian border here. And Mongolia is this tan stuff here, or kind of light brown. And it's got 4 locations. So I'm assuming if Japan possesses any one, it's either that or you go with all. I would say any one part personally, since it's not clear in one or the other. So that would be a +5 and then a +5. And these are moving this 8 on the income tracker up until you get to 46. It's a sign of Russia's feeling threatened, so it's ramping up its military production. All right. So Germany, Italy possesses the lines, a land zone adjacent to Soviet home country. So there you go, the Baltic states, Romania, East Poland, etc. So now I'm going to assume the etc. This stuff was covered on this side here as being a Japan issue. So now anything else that touches the Russian border, this does not. So Afghanistan, Tehran, Azerbaijan, cars from Turkey here. All right, what else do we have that would apply? Romania was listed, East Poland, Lubelski, and the Baltic states of Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia. And then up there in Finland, you've got Tornio, up at the very, very top, sorry. And right here you have Piri. So, if you sign the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact with Germany, you agree to attack Vapiri, and they get to keep, they agree not to align Helsinki or Tornio against you while the pact's in effect. Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania, Russia gets to combat move a unit in here and take it the same way that Germany annexed Austria, Sudetenland, and Slovakia, and in doing so you'll gain this extra infantry as your own. You also get to move into Lubelski and East Poland, regardless of British ownership and or British alignment, and the British will not declare war on you as a result. You can do that without having to declare war on them. But when you do that, you void that plus D12 roll that you would have gotten if the Germans took Romania or anything else on your borders. So keep that in mind. It's a double-edged sword. Sometimes it works for you, sometimes it doesn't. So that's that one. And then, as I mentioned, the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, while it remains in effect, +1 bonus technology roll, so that you get 1 free tech roll. And you get a $3. It's in the bank. So that's equal to $2 roll and $3 cash. So that's a $5 increase every turn while the pact stays in effect. There's more details in that pact, but I think I'll go over that separately here. Just like my Dirty Russian strategy here. Alright, Sleeping Bear. This is basically the same thing as the US and the British and everybody else. Starting July 1939, you're starting to ramp up your war production. You roll a D12 each collect income phase and add that much to your income until reaching this your wartime income. If another nation initiates war on the USSR, the USSR's income automatically increases to its full wartime income. So, and then if the USSR initiates the war, its income does not increase. So if Russia attacks Germany, it's still rolling the D12. It doesn't jump up to full income, even though it could be at 8 when it declares war, right? Because this is before you can even start rolling, right? But if Germany attacks you when you're at 8, you automatically jump to 46, right? So keep that in mind. Russia is the only nation that can attack before it's at wartime income. All right, I'm going to leave you there with all that stuff, and I will come back to you with a couple of different strategies. One's going to be a conservative strategy for how to keep Russia alive versus Germany and whatnot, and I'm going to do another one I'm going to call the Dirty Russian, where you're just going to be a dirty bastard. All the other sides won't like you, but you're looking out for number one, Russia.